Greetings, my name is Odin from the Odin's Musings YouTube channel, and I'm here on behalf of Aura Crystals. Today I will be showing you how to do the ladder stitch. This is a foundational stitch that is commonly used in order to build off of using other stitches, such as the herringbone or the brick stitch. It's characterized with a solid line of beads that are perfectly lined up next to each other without any gaps or spaces. As you can see in this example, it is used to be a foundation to the brick stitch on this clasp, as well as the start of the herringbone on this clasp. This right here is our ladder stitch row. In this example, I'm going to be using two contrasting colors of size 11 Delica beads. Feel free to use whichever seed beads you would like, but the Delicas really show off how straight and even the rows get. I am also using a D-weight white Nymo and a size 12 beading needle, but feel free to use size 10 if you would like. I'm going to start off by threading on one of each color of my seed beads in order to begin the foundation stitch. I'm going to pull it down so that my thread, I leave about a 6-inch tail, just long enough for me to work with. I'm going to hold my thread like so. I have my tail end downward in this direction and my working thread in this direction. What I'm going to do is separate the beads apart and then pass back through upwards through the very first bead. And when I pull tight and move my bead up, I have two beads latched to each other. From here, I'm going to set up to attach a new bead. So all I'm going to do is pass down to bead number 2. I'm going to add one more bead, and since my thread is going downwards from the bead, I'm going to also pass downwards through bead number 2 so that the thread makes a loop and the bead sits next over. Now, to make another stitch, I'm going to move up through that bead, add on one more bead, and since my thread is coming up out of the third bead, I'm going to pass up through the following bead. And then I've anchored on 4 more beads. I'm going to pass down so that I end up setting up for my next stitch. Add one more bead. See that my thread is coming downward, so I'm going to pass downward through the next bead. Once more, go up, and I continue in this manner until I have the length that I need. Now you might notice that as of right now, the beads aren't perfectly aligned next to each other, and usually since this is a foundation stitch, it doesn't really matter too much, especially when using the herringbone stitch, but if you'd like things pursed closer together, all you have to do is, starting from one end, we'll pass back all the way over until we reach the first bead again. So I'm just going to go up and down, up, down, and finally up. And you'll see how nice and tight those beads are together. You can also do this stitch with multiple beads per column, and I'll show you how in this example. So I'm going to start off adding 2 beads of each color instead of just 1. You can do this with however many beads you would like. You can add 3, 4, or 5 of each color, depending on how wide you would like to make this. So I'm going to pull that down, again leaving about a 6-inch tail so that I can work with it. Then I have my 4 beads. I'm going to separate them in half. So if I had 6 beads strung on, I'm separate it into sets of 3 and 3. So in this example, I have 2 and 2. My tail thread is going down, my working thread is going up. I'm going to pass up through both my green beads. Then when I pull tight, the blue beads sit next to it. Then to set up for my next stitch, I'm going to pass down both blue beads. I'm going to add on 2 green beads, and since my thread is going downward, I'm going to pass downward through the blue beads again. like that. Then I set up for my next stitch by passing through both green beads. Add on 2 blue beads. Since my thread is going up, I'm going to pass up through the green beads and anchor my next row. Then I'm going to pass downward to set up for my next stitch. From there, I continue onward until I have the length I want. And that is the basics of the ladder stitch. For more practice, have fun with colors and technique, and create a band of ladder stitch for as long as you need to make a bracelet. In the next ladder stitch video, I will show you a different technique in order to make a wide cuff of this, so you can make a bracelet just using the ladder stitch and make it as wide as you'd like. So thank you for joining me on this lesson. You will find the materials lists and all pertinent links on where to purchase down in the description box below. Feel free to subscribe to Aura Crystals to get updates and notifications on new patterns and new technique tutorials. If you would like to see more of my work, feel free to check me out at Odin's Musings here on YouTube or at odinsbeadhall.com.